in and through us, the transformative, uplifting power and presence of God, which takes us to a higher level of vibration and leaves us feeling filled and satisfied as we leave here to spread the love which is warming our hearts. I let go now, I release, and I let love take place in its full and completeness in this morning's service, giving thanks that it is so, and so it is. So it is. Now, as Friendship Sunday continues, I have the great pleasure of bringing to you another milestone in our church's life, and I'm going to invite Mrs. Sandy Cooper to come forward and to share it with us. Oh, she'll be staying right there. She puts them on, I take mine off.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning, Sandy.
It is a wonderful, beautiful morning of love and light and joy, and it is awesome for me to bring a very, very special announcement to you this morning. And this is about a project that, let me stand, I prefer to stand. This is about a project that is the brainchild of the Raising Consciousness Quadrant. And it was birthed from a desire and the goal of our quadrant to develop tangible ways to assist the membership and other persons generally to access states of consciousness consistent with peace, particularly important in this time of the pandemic. The divine idea of the guided meditation series was channeled through Elizabeth Terry in June of last year. It began with the staging of an online workshop that she facilitated for quadrant members and practitioners to expose them to the framework for the development of the meditations. Willing members and practitioners then volunteered to develop meditations along one of three themes: peace for health and wellness, peace for relationships, and peace for wealth and abundance. Now, 12 persons contributed scripts, edited and finalized by Liz. And they are Andre Nemhard, Sandra Cooper, Sonia Williams, Attila St. Charles, Courtney Johnson, Karen Ford Warner, Denise Williams, Jeannie Slow, Carol Campbell, Stevie Golding, Jennifer Livingston, and Elizabeth Terry. Now, the meditations were recorded with music tracks provided by Stevie, with narration by Carol Campbell, Steve, Karen Ford Warner, Reverend Michael, Liz, and myself. With the generous support of Mikey Bennett, who donated studio time at the lab, the recordings were completed in January this year. Liz then created a flyer to announce the guided meditation series and converted the video for YouTube uploading. Much appreciation goes out to Thea Smith, who assisted greatly in the last lap of this project by setting up the playlists, as well as the requisite online automatic payment system. Our love and gratitude also goes out to our previous quadrant chair, Mrs. Andre Nemhard, and our current chair, Dr. Sonia Williams, and Reverend John, for endorsing, supporting, and giving guidance to the initiative. The project has truly been a demonstration of faith, focus, persistence, and importantly, teamwork, without which the dream would definitely not have become a reality. And we truly hope that members and potential listeners will find the meditations healing and restorative, inspiring the desire for an even deeper connection with the inner divine presence. And the blessing this morning is that every one of us is going to have an access to one of the meditations for free. The package will be available for sale for $14 and we will, as our gift to you on this wonderful Friendship Sunday, we're going to be making available one of the meditations to you. So we will send out the link via email within the next day or two, so you can access that. And we have intention to load them onto a thumb drive that you can give as a gift to friends and family and so on. And of course, you can maybe pay it forward, but purchase one of them and email the link to friends abroad. Okay, happy Friendship Sunday, and I really, really look forward to having you enjoy this wonderful experience of the guided meditations. Blessings. Oh, you have, what a blessing. Theo is going to play one of them now. So I'm going to sit and invite you to just relax and enjoy.
To the Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living Guided Meditation on the theme of peace, including peace for health and wellness, peace for wealth and abundance, and peace for relationships. At this time, when the world may seem chaotic and out of balance, the ability to connect with your inner divine source immediately returns you to that feeling of calm and certainty, no matter the external circumstances. We invite you to join us on a daily journey within. This is a guided meditation of peace for relationships. Please find yourself a comfortable chair where you can sit with your feet flat on the floor and your back reasonably straight. We'll begin by taking 3 deep, centering breaths, breathing slowly and deeply with each inhalation and exhalation to the count of 6. Use your throat as a passageway for the breath. Inhale through the nose. Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now gently close your eyes, and as you inhale, say, I am God's beloved. Now breathe out audibly and say, I am enough. Allow the energy of the words to embrace you as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more deeply relaxed until you feel a peaceful stillness, a calm center. Repeat the words, I am enough, silently to yourself as often as you need to. Now imagine yourself in a wide open space, a flowering meadow, a beach, a clearing in a forest, a mountain retreat, wherever you feel peaceful, safe, secure, and contented. Any sounds you become aware of, just breathe them in and take them into the stillness. There is nothing to fear. You are safe. You are loved. This wide open space is your wide open heart, expansive, boundless, compassionate, fearless, full of kindness, love, and goodness. As you
take your time. Allow yourself to just very gently experience your surroundings and know that all is well. Ever so gently, ever so slowly, open your eyes. Beautiful, truly beautiful. And so we continue with our praise song. And our hearts should be so full of praise after that wonderful experience. So we're going to really sing it with all our hearts.
Give a little love away. It doesn't matter where you live or what you do. If you give a little love away, give a little love away, a whole lot of love will come back to you. When someone who's struggling with a job that's hard to do, and a helping hand for next time, the one who needs your help just might be you. Give a little love away, give a little love away. It doesn't matter where you live or what you do. If you give a little love away, give a little love away, a whole lot of love will come back to you. You never know who's watching as you go through the day to see how well you handle any problems in your way. They say attitudes are contagious like the measles or the flu. What kind of attitude will someone catch from you? So give a little love away, give a little love away. It doesn't matter where you live or what you do. If you give a little love away, give a little love away, a whole lot of love will come back to you.
Surely will, surely will. And now, I think we should stand for a prayer of our center. And those who are at home, you can do the same. Prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And so it is. Now you may be seated. And we are going to light the candle for the youth of the world. Just about. Sandra wants to know if I can reach. Working on it, working on it. Lovely. So, affirmatively for our youth, we love you, we appreciate you, we salute the Christ in you, we see you as shining lights onto your world. God is blessing you now. So it is. We truly appreciate the youth in our church, in our country, and in the world. They are certainly shining lights. And so we continue now. With our Temple of Light mission song.
The temple of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one spirit, one mission. To touch, to heal, bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us. Anytime, night or day. The temple of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one in spirit on a mission. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us, anytime, night or day.
Thank you, Maestro Noel Dexter, and I'm thinking of you especially today on Friendship Sunday. Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful experience, our Temple of Light mission song. And now for the announcements. I know you love to hear the announcements. Listen up, please. Our flowers this week celebrates the friendship we share as a spiritual community and are the loving creation of our own Mrs. Faye Kessler. Thank you, thank you. Hey. I'm going to do what KC boys do, and she's my school sister, Snilders. Okay. Yeah. Snandra and Snilders, both Snilders and Snandra, but this is Snilders this time. Okay. Okay. Services, boy, we're rich with services. So Monday mornings now, and let me tell you, it's a sell-off. There's quiet moments in the garden with Reverend John. Every morning at 6 a.m. Eastern. Every Monday morning. I didn't say Monday morning. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of that too, right? But it's Monday morning now.
Prophecy.
You see how spirit works, Reverend John? So it starts at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just join us. It's on Facebook Live, right? And on Tuesday, we are going to have our usual spiritual healing service, and that starts at 6. And this week, our speaker will be Practitioner Vance Gardner. Discovery session will be this morning. We have it every other week this morning. It's 10:30 a.m. and the facilitator will be Reverend Michael Record. And of course, guess what? The title will be The Meaning of Love. So think about it, what it means to you individually. Now, Ash Wednesday. there is a rich sharing. Ash Wednesday is the February the 17th, which is this week, right? And it will be on the Zoom platform. And we're going to start off with a sunrise meditation at 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. And guess who is going to facilitate it? Really? Yes, man. The only person I know that you can rely on to get up at that hour, 4 o'clock, right? So he'll be facilitating it. And then after that, you will get a break, have your breakfast, do whatever you need to do. And from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, we'll be having a series of 1-hour workshops, which will go through spirit, soul, body. And then in the evening, you will have sharing in the garden at 5:30 p.m. And I think this is going to be facilitated by... Okay, there will be no sharing this week. Okay, we take a break because it will be filled up in the morning from 9 to 12, 6 to 12. Prayer Power is on Thursdays at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., except the last Thursday, right? And it's a circle of prayer. It is just a time when we just be still and listen to the still small voice and obey it. We learn to obey it. We train our minds to obey it. And so we can share a reading, something that comes through us that is inspiring. We can do a prayer or just be together in love and fellowship. Classes continue. Reverend John invites you to join him for spiritual economics. That is based on the book by Eric Butterworth, and it's a classic book and by the same name. And classes are offered. That's in the morning. He's doing that from 11 to 1, and in the evenings on Thursdays, yes, and in the evenings at 7 to 9 p.m., and that's on Tuesdays, okay? So remember, that's on Zoom, and the others is live in the sanctuary. The one from 11 to 1 on Thursday is in the sanctuary, and on Tuesdays from 7 to 9, it's by the Zoom platform. And of course, if you need to know the link, just call our church, and perhaps we'll also share it on our Facebook Live. Look out for it. And on Thursday evenings, Reverend Ann and Reverend Sonia Davidson, we continue the series. We are ending the series, Revealing Holiness. So it's a good time to come and hear what others have learned and to share. We are open to you coming to classes on any individual day that we share it. It's Thursdays from 7 to 9, and it's also on Zoom. And there is a fee. For non-residents, it's $16 that's for non-members and non-residents, and for members, it's $10. I think I'm right? And for Jamaican residents, class is $1,600 for non-members and $1,200 for members. So there's all kind of instructions for signing up for our class. You can call in, and your payment option is, or visit Facebook Live for directions. And our payment options are many. You can transfer funds to our savings account, which is number 20941, the Bank of Nova Scotia, Knutsford Boulevard. Okay, so we continue to invite you to book your space to come to services, because we have to follow guidelines, and there are a certain number of people who are allowed to be in here, right? And we also remind you, I'm looking around and I know no one in here needs to be reminded to keep their masks on. Everybody has on well-fitting masks covering their nose and their mouth. But we're asking you after the service to remember to continue to keep the distance that we have arranged for you here, and to greet everybody quickly and leave, go home, right? After, and take in with you all the love that we've generated. Lifeline. Wow, this has been rich, rich, rich. Our monthly webinar titles airs on Facebook Live. The next one is Thursday, February 25th, and it's at 6 p.m. This month, we'll have a dynamic youth leader from the Centers for Spiritual Living, and his name is Jeff Seeley, right? And as usual, Reverend John Scott, and will be there along with Sandra Cooper as moderators, and Jeff will speak on the way to love. Now, Vista 2021, this is our Mother Church's offering. The Temple of Light will be featured at CSL upcoming Vista 2021 conference on Wednesday, February 17th, with a presentation. It's going on, but this is where we are really, really keeping our eyes and ears open, because there are two presentations will be done, two workshops. Reverend John Scott will co-facilitate a workshop titled Surmounting Walls, Healing the Blame, Shame, and Regret That Keep People in Prison. His co-presenter is CSL practitioner Diane D. Dra. Also, another member of our church, Miss Lorna Phillips, will be presenting a workshop on leadership diversity on the same day. To view more details on the conference, please Google Centers for Spiritual Living Vista 2021. Centers for Spiritual Living Vista 2021. Prayer support. Our church is rich, rich prayer support. And so, to just facilitate our dealing with the everyday experiences, we know that there's a practitioner who is available to pray with you immediately after the service for 15 minutes. And today it's Carol Campbell, whose beautiful voice you heard in the meditation. And the number to call is 289-0907. And you can listen to an inspiring prayer anytime, any day, by calling our prayer line, which is 876-978-1167. And if you wish to speak in person to one of the ministers and to have them pray with you, you may reach them at 289-0907, and this will be from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, Mondays to Fridays. Note I said Mondays to Fridays, not Saturdays and Sundays. I say that advisedly. So you can also phone in your prayer requests to our office at 876-927-6145 or 946-2230. And you can be assured that our team of practitioners, which include the ministers, will get busy to pray of whatever it is that you are experiencing. And this concludes the announcements. Breathe. Right? This concludes the announcements. And we are going to ask you now to join in singing the first hymn, "O Brother Man, Fold to Heart, Thy Heart." And that's on page 3. Page 3. And that's for us here, and for others, you will be seeing it on the internet. Please stand.
Oh, brother man, fold to thy heart thy brother, is there to worship rightly is to love each other, each smile I hear, each kindly deed a prayer. Follow with reverent steps the great example of him whose holy work was doing good. So shall the wide earth see our Father's temple, each loving life a psalm of gratitude. Then shadows fall, the stormy clamor of wide war music o'er the earth shall cease. Love shall tread out the baleful fire of anger, and in its ashes plant the tree of peace.
What beautiful words!
Indeed.
Truly beautiful. I think they are worthy of us taking this home and just planting some wonderful seeds of peace by giving it a daily read. This is truly wonderful. And it just takes us into the highlight of our service, when it is my great, great pleasure, a rare pleasure indeed, but still a pleasure, to share the platform with my beloved Rev Ann, who I share classes with each week. I want to invite her to come forward and share that loving heart and peaceful mind that she has with us in a beautiful message this morning. Rev Ann, help me to welcome her.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Reverend Sonia, for that wonderful welcoming to the podium. Let me add my own words of love this morning to those sitting in our sanctuary and for those in the right reaches of Cyber City. This is Valentine's Day. Love you all. So we just give thanks for this morning when we can truly share our love. This is one of the services that we call our ritual. We don't have lots of ritual under this teaching, but we have this one. Every second Sunday in the month of February, every year, we celebrate friendships. It is one of the avenues of expression through which our love outpours and attract into our lives fellow travelers who support us in this wonderful journey of life more abundant. Let me begin my thoughts titled this morning, In Celebration of Friendships, with a meditation from a book, In the Flow of Life, authored by one of our New Thought luminaries. Guess what? Eric Butterworth. Coincidence, isn't it? It begins like this. Here I am, Father. Use me as an instrument of your love, an agency of your peace. I am in the flow of life, and I relate easily and lovingly, patiently, and understandingly with all persons. I know that no matter what any person is or does, what I am and what I do can most certainly enable me to get along. It may mean that I will get along easily with him, or it may mean that I will let him go and get along without him. But in every case, I know that my responsibility is simply to keep in the flow, to keep seeing with eyes of love, to be willing to receive and to be responsive to the all-sufficient flow of life, love, and wisdom. I go forth in the joyous certainty that whatever persons or situations may come to me this day, it will be good, for I will be in the flow of good, end of quote. Friends, here's our meditation that simply asks us to relate to others lovingly, patiently, understandingly, no matter what the circumstances are. It reminds us of our responsibility to see with the eyes of love, and finally to go forth each day, open to receive from the flow of life itself, love, wisdom, and to dwell in that all-sufficiency of good, which may outpicture as our joyous relations with others, or just simply every good thing for our joyous expression of life. On this day, we are appreciative of our friends who are part of our reality, friends who mirror similar attributes of God, friends who in Proverbs 27, verse 17, and I read, "Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend," end of quote. Friends who support us honestly in our growth and unfoldment into the individual we were meant to be, co-creators with God. A kind of friend that is described in the story. But be reminded that, yes, the scripture reminds us of the friends that sharpen us, make better our view of the world. It can be done in many ways, pleasant or sometimes uncomfortable, in our response to the actions of those who should sharpen our countenance in our world of affairs. This story is taken from the history of the First World War, where a soldier saw his friend out in no man's land. The ground between their trenches and those of the enemy stumble and fall in a hail of bullets. He said to his officer, "May I go, sir, and bring him in?" Officer replied, "No one can live out there. I should only lose you as well." Disobeying the order, the man went to try and save his friend. For they have been like David and Jonathan throughout the whole war. Somehow he got his friend on his shoulder and staggered back to the trenches. On the way, he too was mortally wounded. His friend died too. The officer was angry because he had disobeyed orders. Now he was about to lose both men and felt it was not worth it. The soldier on his dying breath responded to the officer, "It was worth it, sir." "Worth it?" The officer curtly responded, "How could it be? Both of you have suffered." The boy shrank from the officer's reproach and looked up in his face and said, "It was worth it, sir, because when I got to him, he said, 'Jim, I knew you'd come. Jim, I knew you'd come.'" On his dying breath. This story was retold by a writer whose name was Leslie Weatherhead. The end of the story brings into sharp focus the depth of friendships some of us enjoy. This David and Jonathan is a story in the Bible. One of the many friendships that was actually amplified. David, who is the origin of Jesus the Christ. So we can think about friends who, as a result of our interactions and engagement on our road to self-discovery and self-actualization, who fit in that profile. Yes, it is easy to maintain friendships with persons who are in the same social circles and have similar thought patterns. But are they friends that inspire that deep devotion and loyalty? The I knew you would come ones, who sharpen our countenance in the face of tragic circumstances and issues? But what about those who are not known for their consistent, diligent support of our growth and unfoldment? But what about those who have initiated actions that have hurt us? We must realize that they too are sharpening our consciousness, and they will assist us to finally radiate only love, compassion, unconditionality, and non-judgment. Our master teacher, Jesus the Way Shower, reminds us about the quality of our friendships. Firstly, in John 15, verses 12 and 13. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. And in 13, greater love hath no man than this, that a man may lay down his life for his friends, end of quote. Are we willing to let go of a way of life that is contrary to love and compassion for a friend who has hurt us? Are we willing to love without expectations and forgive easily? In fact, there is nothing to forgive if we have eyes of love. Secondly, the parable of the Good Samaritan has an obvious external teaching, which we can note, but it has a deep internal spiritual truth that can sometimes make us uncomfortable. The Good Samaritan is taken from St. Luke 10, verses 25 to 37. This parable came right in the middle of Jesus' ministry, just before he sent out 70 new disciples. And in that space of reading, he reminded us of the commandments again. And in chapter 11, the disciples were all taught how to pray, Our Father. Not coincidence. The parable of the Good Samaritan began with a question from a scribe, a lawyer. But in the last 6 months of Jesus' ministry, as stated in the book of Your Hope of Glory by Elizabeth Turner, he began to experience increasing hostility on the part of the Jewish leaders, and therefore increased his travels from place to place, not settling long for any given part that you found him in Judea. So it was during one of his short visits to Judea that this young scribe got a hold of him. He was part of the leadership. And he chose to ask this question, which really had an agenda for confusion in the minds of those listening. That confusion metaphysically means that uncertainty that sometimes is the prevailing mental state in our own minds. The arguing back and forth about what we believe about our Christ nature. And sometimes it's somewhat rejection in the face of life's unfolding drama. The question starts in verse 25. And I begin the story. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? And he answering him said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. And he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live. And he, willing to justify himself unto Jesus, asked him, And who is my neighbor? And Jesus answering said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked at him. and passed on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came from where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, set him on his beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of those 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among thieves? And he said, He that showed mercy on him. And said Jesus unto him, Go and do thou likewise. Now the obvious instructions from this parable, brilliant indeed, is that Jesus the wayshower was requiring of us, if we were to follow that edict, go and do thou likewise, should be easy. Show mercy, a quality of love to your neighbor. But the question is, who is your neighbor? Those geographically close to you, those who are in the same social economic bracket, the same educational level, those who look, speak, and think like us? Yes, what about those who are opposite to the social constructs that we hold dear and near to us? If we look at anyone who comes into contact, close contact with us every day, then it is a jaundiced, narrow approach, as some will not fit. They are still our neighbors. As the Samaritan was considered socially, racially, religiously inferior or different, he was the one who showed mercy. What about persons who look and behave like that? Aren't they our neighbors as well? We all share the same nature of God, created out of the same invisible stuff of spirit. Then the question is, if we are all abundantly provided for, then every avenue of expression will abundantly bless us too. Any person who is willing to be receptive enough to allow Spirit to direct their lives can be blessed by anyone. Psalm 91, verse 11 to 12, and I quote, For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. End of quote. Now those angels of mercy sent to assist do not appear with harps and gold circlets around their heads. So an angel that assists anyone can come in all shapes and forms. In fact, the most unlikely of persons are called to be our neighbors and our friends by extension. Many of us have stories, and I can think of 2 right now. I think of persons in hospital care who have no family or friends to care for. Usually it's the lowest staff member on the rung, a ward assistant, who offer their care and compassion to ensure that those persons are comfortable and relaxed in this dispensation. Am I right? Or am I right? The last persons who are seen by individuals making their way to another plane of existence use the 2 eyes of the hospital personnel, watching with compassion and love to allow them to move from this plane of existence to another. That is friendship. That is being a neighbor. Angela tells the story of her Aunt Vi, who worked for Caucasians. And Vi used to have her friends over on her days off in her own little quarters. But there, the love, the laughter, dance, general fun-loving people created such an atmosphere that one day, Aunt Vi heard a scratch on her door. When she looked, her employers motioned to her to come. Do you know what they wanted? They wanted to listen and watch the fun. They have never experienced anything like that. You know how we can go on bad already, right? So you can just imagine these Caucasians who are not accustomed to that atmosphere of fun and camaraderie. Advi offered a hand of fellowship and friendship and permitted them to join the circle. So, friends, in this time of isolation, please remember that everyone is a neighbor. We cannot socially touch, but we all have devices that we use to shorten the space of interaction and engagement. Send messages of love and upliftment today. You can have a Zoom party. I've just experienced my granddaughters. We dance, shared music, poetry, and some people I know share affirmations. Yes, that platform can be used for that. The new age is allowing us to stretch our imagination to be of spiritual service to all. As a spiritual community, armed with the truth, we are also called to truly be ambassadors of love. Yes, the clinical meaning of interdependence, pointing to the physical domain, is short right now. But in fact, technology has now opened up avenues that allow us to truly spread interdependence into the far reaches of cyberspace. Our friendships filled with fellowship, camaraderie, acceptance, appreciation, we can send through all devices. Our last principle reminds us that we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of man is God. So when we sharpen our countenance, it is to look in love, and live from a higher vibration, that is, to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love, and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us, anytime, night or day. Thanks, Mr. Dexter. Anytime, night or day. Right, Courtney? So, in the words of Joel Goldsmith, and I remind you, when we see God as the cause and our neighbor as that which is in and of God, then we are loving our neighbor, end of quote. The metaphysical interpretation of the Good Samaritan, I will now summarize from Charles Fillmore's Bible Dictionary. And yes, I've been sharing the external teaching of that great parable, how we on the surface can really share our friendship. But Joel Goldsmith, in that last quote, places another perspective for us to consider. When we see God as the cause and our neighbor, you have to ask yourself, how do we do that? How do we live from that? And I'm going to quote from Charles Fillmore's dictionary. It says, the leading characteristics of the Samaritan cited in Luke 10, verse 33, are kind-heartedness, helpfulness, and generosity. He typifies the traits that make religion a living, spiritual, uplifting power. The activities of those spiritual qualities are the stepping stones that lead to the great demonstration. They are the forces that throw wide open the doors of the inner kingdom so that man's consciousness may be lifted up and merged with God consciousness. Go and do thou likewise. The Master was saying to all those who wish to attain eternal life, two principal lessons that was set forth in the parable. One is that we keep the law of eternal life by loving God. One. The other is that we keep this law by expressing love for our neighbor. Eternal life, love God. How you apply that? Love your neighbor. Metaphysically, a man's neighbor is his nearest and most intimate embodied thought. The body is our nearest and most intimate embodied thought. Therefore, the body is our neighbor. The man who was stripped and beaten and left half dead symbolizes the physical body that is in that condition or the desired good we wish to demonstrate. The robbers are our lawless thoughts that rob our body of its energy and substance. Are our thoughts kind-hearted, helpful, and generous in the support of our body of affairs? The priest and Levite represent the ignorance and the indifference to truth that are found in both formal religion and law, end of quote. So let us get a little closer now. Yes, we follow the route of meditation, prayer, journaling, all the spiritual practices. Are they for a closer walk with the indwelling presence of God, to court and practice the presence, or are they something we do as we wish to harmonize our affairs on the material sense and demonstrate materially all the good we desire? Now, I'm not confusing the issue. Remember, material demonstrations are gifts of refined consciousness. That consciousness that we sharpen on our friends, our neighbors. So it bears thinking about. The reason must always be for our spiritual practices is to refine that consciousness of God within, to live at a higher vibration of love. That is the vehicle for healing, each one of us. To honor the God presence as the first and only, to go within to deepen our communion with life itself, to speak, see, hear only the presence of God and not bear false witness to the conditions and issues of life that may separate us from our hope in glory, the Christ consciousness. So to live in the flow of life allows us to meet others with love always as our default position. This presence of love within is our I know you would come friend. Once we remain single-eyed. That presence that you can count on all the time flows through us to comfort, bless, prosper, and enrich us in such a way we automatically ennoble all persons who come into contact with us in thought or presence. So that is what it is for. To deepen that consciousness that we are all vehicles of healing. Transfer that consciousness of love. So we must always go within to that restorative principle of the Christ within us, which is in our hearts, because each one of us, in that center of our conscious awareness, is experiencing that presence that anoints us with the oil of love and the wine of eternal life. So that is the meaning of the love and the wine in that story. And that means that we are dwelling in the secret place of the Most High, the tabernacle of our souls without expectation or conditionalities, but sincerely on a daily basis. And I'm going to repeat this quote from our textbook. Reverend Elmer loved it dearly. It's from page 517, half of it. I speak the truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the cause of all life, truth, power, and action. I shall whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into songs of joy with the realization of limitless possibilities, end of quote. So friends, let us stop the thieves of our mental household from robbing us of our peace and joy and the love that we wish to share, and raise our consciousness by courting the presence of God within to that point of gladness, love, confidence in the law of life, which will now pour forth in generosity, tolerance, mercy to the neighbors and friends that we shall meet on this journey of life more abundant. So would you like to affirm one with me? And I'll repeat it once. My love warms and lightens everything that it touches, and it goes out into all places. Together, My love warms and lightens everything that it touches, and it goes out into all places. And that's the reason for it is that love that is within us, friends, is complete and perfect because it is the presence of love. Namaste. All of us have friendships, don't? And I have, don't, Carmen, we have some of the I knew you would come friends. Okay, I'm going to share this musical item, which we did, 4 years ago now, Mikey? 3 years. Okay, friends, please join me on the platform. And this is to all the friends in cyberspace. Hold your friend, call your friend. Call your friend if you don't have them near beside you.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm sure you know this song. I'm going to ask you to sing along the parts that you know. And if not, it's a nice song to learn. But regardless, enjoy. And I never thought I'd feel this way. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, well, just close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Then you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And by the way, I thank you and them for the times when we're apart. You can close your eyes and know these words are coming from my heart. And I hope that you remember. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Oh, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times, in bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for.
Thank you very much. That's what friends are for. And we are here for all of you. Can we stand and just translate that love for Island Jamaica? Please join me in the prayer of Jamaica. On a fly in your program, or it is. And I know it is also on the screen. Together, the radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established, and so it is. And since you're on our feet or in this, our congregation in the sanctuary, let us sing now, I Radiate Love. And for those of you who remember, Howard, please sing. I radiate the love that comes from deep within my being, love within that flows, extending far beyond the sea, reaching out to touch another soul in true communion. He's my brother wheresoever he be. Deep within my being, love that reaches out to his heart I cannot see, radiant to touch the world in true communion. Love returns 100-fold to me. From deep within my being, love that comes from God was meant for me to share with you. As I give with love a helping hand to every neighbor, I know he will help his neighbor too. From deep within my being, heart to heart that love goes round the world unceasingly. Love I radiate goes round the world to be returning. Love I give flows back again to me. Let us joyfully bless our love offering that has come into the temple, our offerings of time, talent, and treasure. Our wonderful Board of Trustees has given us some little gifts that have 2 cards laminated. One has the love offering blessing, and there are the information about our banking, communication, and wealth. There's an affirmation to secure a constant supply of money. Love to substance. So together, that love offering blessing, lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all my financial affairs. Thank you, Father. And so it is. Okay. Together, let us recognize that presence and power of love in our midst. That love that has brought us together to celebrate the friendships that we have enjoyed and are enjoying now. The presence of God in our lives and affairs. So as we treasure each and every person that comes into contact with us this day, we know that as we give love, we receive love. And indeed, as we allow that circle of love to fulfill itself in our lives and our affairs, I know that we abundantly bless our island Jamaica and indeed the very cosmos. So we give thanks for love. That love that knows nothing but itself. That love that heals, that blesses, that truly just allows us to just step up in that higher vibration where we sense and know that we are always one with God. Always a source of comfort and compassion for all who come into our thought patterns or into our physical presence. It is truly God in action, in, through, as each one of us. I release my word with love and know that it is indeed so. And so it is.
It is.
Can we do love now? Okay. Yes.
Yes, there is love on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is love on earth, the love that was meant to be, with God as our father, family on our knee. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, love begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joy of love. To take each moment and live each moment in love eternally. Yes, there is love on earth, and yes, it
Yes, friends, thank you for joining us in this Love Fest this morning. Please remember to join Vance on Tuesday and our beloved Reverend John on third Sunday. Love, my love to all of you. Have a wonderful, happy Valentine's Day.